Many personalities, wise, studied, theologians, and religious have written their rules of life to achieve success, peace, abundance, and wisdom, among other dream goals. Today we bring you the 12 Rules for Life written by Canadian clinical psychologist, doctor, and professor of psychology, Jordan Peterson. Peterson wrote a work that merges ancient tradition with cutting-edge science to leave this set of 12 guidelines, 12 rules to achieve a more orderly, less chaotic, and more productive life. He emphasizes that in this modern world, life is about a constant search for a balance between order and chaos. To find our yin and yang. And with the support of his decades of psychological studies, embodied in the book with metaphors and teachings, Peterson gives us advice so that we begin to look at our lives, discover who we are and where we want to go, to find the origins of our ills, and so on. Be able to face them. If we want order in our life, we must face the chaos that alters our existence. Otherwise, by withdrawing, we would let the darkness within us overcome us. The 12 rules for life will make us change the way we see things, think, and the way we react to the outside world. Ready? Let's go! Peterson's book provides us with valuable teachings and powerful tools to improve our lives through 12 chapters loaded with truths. Let's see what each one contains. Chapter 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Denying ourselves a profound truth leads to suffering. Denying ourselves the responsibility we have to face that suffering will turn us into desperate victims with a weak, submissive, and self-destructive mentality. In contrast, there are people who have managed to overcome great difficulties in their lives, suffering, pain, loss, and failure. They have taken responsibility and have faced everything with their heads held high, their backs straight, and their shoulders back, gaining confidence and a greater chance of success. Because to face the challenges of life, not only the mentality is crucial, our body posture is also crucial. Therefore, pay attention to your posture. Stop bowing your head and slouching. Say what you think. Present your desires as if you have a right to them, at least the same right as others. Walk upright and look straight ahead. Dare to be dangerous. It encourages serotonin to flow abundantly through neural pathways desperate for its calming influence. Peterson used lobsters to illustrate his point, since these animals share similar neurological structures to humans. Just like our brains, they have areas dedicated to understanding social hierarchies. According to studies, when lobsters lose fights, they also lose status, because their serotonin production is reduced or stopped. And in the absence of this chemical in the brain, depression appears in the animal. Otherwise, fight-winning lobsters become ever stronger and more dominant, brimming with serotonin. Generally, when many people receive blows, humiliation, mistreatment, or abuse, they lose confidence, become depressed, and become a victim. They begin to lower their heads and round their backs in fear of other people, losing places in the social hierarchy. This is why body posture is so important. Standing straight, with our shoulders back and our eyes forward, gives us power, especially in those moments when we are facing problems. This proper position gives us confidence and radiates character, while showing that we accept our responsibility for what is happening to us so that we can continue with meaningful action. To stand with your shoulders back is to accept the tremendous responsibility of life, with your eyes wide open. It means deciding to voluntarily transform the chaos of potential into the realities of habitable order. Chapter 2. Treat yourself as someone you are responsible for helping. Usually when we feel so strong and confident in ourselves, we find it hard to admit that we need help, and perhaps even harder to accept it. And that's what the lesson of the chapter is about. Peterson tries to make us see the advantages of the patient approach that we must apply in those moments of difficulties. In short, it is about respecting ourselves and always remembering that we are worthy of help. What is true, we are as important to others as we are to ourselves. Never forget that we have an extremely important role in the fate of the world. So, we have a moral obligation to take care of ourselves. We must do it. We must help ourselves and even be charitable to ourselves, the same way we would act with someone we love. God wants you to be well and reach your best version, but He alone can't help you. He manifests through you. It strengthens the individual. Start with yourself. Take care of yourself. Define who you are. Tune your personality. Choose your destiny and articulate your being. As the great 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche brilliantly noted, he whose life has a why can bear almost any how. Chapter 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Our friendships have a significant impact on the way we behave. Their tricks, sayings, and even the way they speak can be contagious. Which means that the toxic habits and the negative of your friends can also influence you. So it is vital that we surround ourselves with people with growth objectives similar to ours. People who encourage us to do things that bring well-being to us and to others. Friends who teach us better habits, who support us and encourage us when we are not at our best. Friends who can tell you a painful truth to your face, not to cause you a negative effect, but so you can improve. Surrounding ourselves with people like this will help us enormously. Dr. Peterson gives as an example group practices for the realization of projects, in which individuals who have lower performance are placed in the groups where there are those who perform more to increase the potential of those with lower performance. However, the effect is often the opposite, and high performers end up being dragged down to the level of lower performers. Always surround yourself with better people, brighter, more humble, more optimistic, with bigger goals. And if you are a virtuous person, you will grow more with them. Chapter 4. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not with others. It is almost impossible to avoid it. We always compare ourselves with other people. It is an innate need. The point is that the brain releases serotonin when we notice that we are more skilled or better at something than other people, which gives us security, pride, and more confidence to function. But when someone makes us understand that we are not as good as we thought, serotonin is not secreted, as in the example of lobsters, and something similar happens. We begin to doubt ourselves and self-esteem is hit. The big problem today is that we are connected to billions of people thanks to social networks, the internet, which exposes our brain to an apparent reality that there are too many people who are better than us or in better situations. And this affects many, causing them to lose hope, to stop fighting for their goals because they feel inferior. Therefore, if you think about comparing yourself with someone, then the person you were yesterday, you from the past. Peterson calls it taking stock of your psychological house. And it is a constructive tool, since you can see how and at what rate you have progressed, which will help you decide whether to increase or continue as you are. Chapter 5. Prepare your children for life. Every good parent understands that they must prepare their children to live in a world that is sometimes harsh and always complicated. This means, according to Peterson, that children should be instilled with rules that help them integrate into society. Otherwise, these children, who will one day be adults, will suffer painful rejections for a significant part of their lives. Of course, this may seem like too much of a responsibility, since our children are blank books and choosing what to write on their sheets is challenging. One of the keys is to be kind to your children. Never be violent unless it is in self-defense. Always be kind and respectful to others. It is necessary to impose rules, but only if they are constructive, if they build character, discipline, skills, and so on. Avoid superficial rules like everyone to bed at 7 p.m., no exceptions. And of course, dedicating time to them, giving them love, listening to them and advising them will let the children know that they are important. Chapter 6. Put your house in order before criticizing the world. We tend to complain a lot about the world, pointing the blame and venting our frustrations on others. But the right thing to do is to start questioning ourselves. Am I really taking advantage of the opportunities available to me? Are my habits helping me reach my goals or dreams? Am I trying my best in my career? Am I winning something or holding grudges? Am I treating others how I want to be treated? It is necessary to be humble and wise, to look within ourselves, find our deepest flaws, and try to correct them. But the truth is that the peace we want to achieve begins within us. Make peace within yourself and your soul will guide you on the right path. Clarity will come to our mind. We will see life and what happens with different eyes. The trip will be more fun and healthy. If one wants to live a full life, first he puts his own house in order, and only then can he sensibly aspire to take on greater responsibilities. Chapter 7. Pursuing what is meaningful, not what is convenient. It is usually more attractive to do something that produces short-term gratification or pleasure than an activity of greater meaning for our lives. It is so because it seems that life is monotonous, full of responsibilities and suffering 99% of the time. But we know that this is not the case, and seeking to do meaningful things will make us better people, happier ones. Doing so is about trading immediate personal gratification for sacrifice for the benefit of others. Peterson says this will help us grow in a positive way, and that the balance between order and disorder is there, and doing what matters instead of what is easy. Chapter 8. Tell the truth, or, at least, don't lie. We have all lied and most lie, so it has been and so it will be in this world. People do it to get what they want, even going so far as to lie to themselves. The problem is that lies often have a negative impact that we ignore or prefer to ignore. As they add up, they can cause great damage to those around us and to ourselves. The best way is the truth. It will give you peace and cleanse your soul. It is true that while we venture down the path of truth, we will have to deal with the problems and conflicts that honesty brings. However, we will mature and be more responsible, we will become wiser, and inner harmony will be born. If your life is not what it could be, try to tell the truth. If you desperately cling to an ideology or wallow in nihilism, try to tell the truth. If you feel weak and rejected and hopeless and confused, try to tell the truth. In paradise, everyone tells the truth. That is what makes it paradise. Tell the truth. Or at least don't lie. Chapter 9. Suppose the person you are listening to might know something that you don't. Only if your life is perfect in every way can you say that you know enough. If, on the contrary, you suffer from diseases, betrayals, pain, limitations, deficiencies, sadness, and other ills, it is because you are too ignorant a person to protect yourself. And it's because what you know is not enough. You need more knowledge to achieve a better quality of life. So you should look for them in every place you can. So when someone talks to you, listen carefully and assuming that this person knows more than you. So, listen to yourself and to your interlocutors. Your wisdom then does not consist in the knowledge you already have, but in the continuous search for knowledge, which is the highest form of wisdom. Chapter 10. Be precise in your speech. Facing big problems or difficulties is sometimes really difficult, to the point that we would prefer to ignore the situation until the last moment. It is easier to diminish the problem by referring to it and even changing its nature, whatever is necessary so that the peace is not disturbed. But we would not be solving anything. Solving problems and setting goals requires us to be precise and explicit in its nature and how we will approach it. When the objectives are not clear, unclear actions take place that will give unexpected, unsatisfactory, and sometimes counterproductive results. Problems must be given a concrete form and can only be achieved by defining it with a precise discourse. This is how it is possible to choose the right actions. Of course, to achieve this, courage is required to see and analyze the problem head-on, the strength to speak about it, and the will to overcome it. Chapter 11. Don't disturb your kids skateboarding. As parents, we always want our kids to be in a totally safe environment as much as possible and sometimes impossible. We will feel more comfortable watching them play on the tablet than riding a skateboard or climbing walls. But Peterson believes that if we keep our children away from any activity that poses even the slightest risk, we will make it more difficult for them as adults to face the dangers and difficulties of the world. As hard as it sounds, children need to slip from time to time, face challenges and inevitably also dangers. It is part of the training that will make them strong and resilient adults. The fundamental moral question is not how to completely shield children from misfortune and failure so that they never experience any fear or pain, but how to maximize their learning so that useful knowledge is gained at minimum cost. Chapter 12. Pet a cat when you meet one on the street. It may sound funny, but this simple act of petting a cat when you meet one on the street is based on enjoying the little pleasures in life. We often have a lot of chaos and misery around us, and problems are our daily bread. If we don't take time out of the day to forget them, we may possibly go crazy, full of anger, anxiety, or stress. Therefore, taking a few minutes to have a cup of coffee while reading your favorite book, play with your children or with your pet, or go out to the roof from time to time and take a deep breath, listen to the birds, contemplate the flowers, and enjoy the beauty that surrounds you, is important. Following the 12 rules for life as outlined by Dr. Jordan Peterson is optional, but the result it produces and whoever does it will always be the same: personal growth. It is a whole path of self-improvement, improving your posture, accepting that you need help, surrounding yourself with better people, comparing yourself only with who you were yesterday, teaching your children well, putting order within yourself, pursuing what is meaning, speaking the truth, seeking wisdom, being precise, letting the kids ride skateboards, and enjoying life's little pleasures. All of these things will simply make you improve as a human being. So far, our invitation to be better today. If you liked this video, give it a like and share the link with your friends and contacts so that they also know the 12 Rules for a Life Without Chaos by Dr. Jordan Peterson. We would like to read your comments. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, do so now and activate notifications so that you are up to date with our latest deliveries.